What is up, YouTube? We're back with another YouTube video, and we're here with a Season of the Witch Legend Lost Sector guide. And you can see we're going to be doing today the K1 Revelation Lost Sector. Now, to find this, you want to go to your destinations and go to the bottom right side here to the moon. When you spawn in, spawn at Saros Harbor up here. And then when you spawn in, you pretty much just got to go straight. Kind of see where I'm aiming. Just aim for that. And then you can see, I'm pretty sure this other player over here is at the Lost Sector. So when you go straight, you're gonna see the entrance right here towards this temple area or whatever you want to call it. Just go a little past it right here, and you're gonna see these kind of rock formations drop right here. But if you don't see the icon or the little banner right here when you get here, you're gonna have to complete it normally. So what you have to do is go inside of this cave, and then you'll find all the AI inside of it. That's where you're gonna want to make sure you kill all the AI, kill the boss, and loot the chest at the end to unlock Legend and Master difficulty. So you can see I'm going inside, and once you reach a certain point, it'll say K1 Revelation, and then here you can see the AI that you'll have to kill, and then keep making your way through it, and then unlock Legend and Master difficulty once you loot the chest at the end. So now we're gonna go back outside, and I do want to note, if you've seen my other K1 Revelation Lost Sector guides, you know this one is definitely not one of my favorites, and I wish they would stop putting this in the rotation, but it is what it is at this point. So let's go over the modifiers. So you can see for Legend difficulty, we have shielded foes shall face combatants with arc shields. Legend modifiers, locked loadout and extra shields. Equipment locked, limited revives. And then champion foes are barrier and unstoppable. You'll have a void threat, which is a 25% increase to incoming void damage. Then fire pit, when defeated acolytes spawn fire poles that cause damage over time. Overcharged weapons, weapon overcharges from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. Kinetic weapons do increased damage when your subclass elements match an active surge. Strand Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing strand damage. Arc Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing arc damage. Then Overcharged Machine Gun, 25% bonus to machine gun damage. Now for the rewards, you can see Enhancement Core is uncommon, and if completed solo, Exotic Arms Armor is rare. And I do want to note here as well, if you're a Hunter, a Warlock, or a Titan, all the new exotics are exotic arms for this season. So if you do have the season pass, I believe you're able to unlock them. I'm not sure if you can get it for free. Don't quote me on that, but I know 90% of the time things are paywalled when it comes to Destiny 2. So I do believe you need to be an owner of the current season in order to even attempt to get these, and they only drop from Lost Sectors. So if you're hunting for those, this is your place. I actually did get the new exotic, so you will see that towards the end of this video. But let's get straight into the loadout. So for the subclass, you can see we're running Thread Runner Strand subclass with Silk Strike, with Marksman Dodge, Triple Jump, Threaded Spike, Threadling Grenades, Widow's Silk, Threaded Spectre. Then we have Thread of Generation, Thread of Evolution, Thread of Binding, and Thread of Continuity. Now for the weapons, we got Malfeasance, and this is for Unstoppable Champions. It is taking an increased damage buff because our kinetic weapon and our subclass are matching the active surge. So like I mentioned a couple seconds ago, when you run a strand or arc super, you are gonna end up giving your kinetic weapon a damage boost because it's matching the active surge. So our Malfeasance is getting a boost from that, but also the Vorpal weapon perk because I have it masterwork. And on top of that, we are going to be using Lucky Pants, which is going to add more damage to Malfeasance. So this is really going to be the do-it-all gun for this. Shadow Price is for the barrier champions, and you just really need any auto rifle, preferably one with a large magazine size. But to be honest, I rarely had to bring this out to break shields because Malfeasance was just killing them really fast, and you'll see that in the gameplay. But just have some type of arc weapon to take advantage of the arc burn. Now for the heavy slot, Circular Logic, and this has Hatchling and Nanotech Tracer Rockets. That's the origin perk, but Hatchling is really good because precision final blows are rapidly defeating targets with non-precision weapon final blows spawns a Threadling at the target's location, and just think of it as free damage. So if you have a Circular Logic, I highly recommend it, and it's become quickly one of my go-to LMGs slash heavy weapons. So for the armor, we're rocking Ashes to Assets, and you can see we have gain bonus super energy on grenade kills, Kinetic Siphon, Rapid Kinetic Weapon Final Blows create an Orb of Power, and Strand Siphon, Rapid Strand Weapon Final Blows create an Orb of Power. Then our arms have Firepower, Grenade Final Blows create Orbs of Power, Grenade Kickstart, when your grenade energy is fully expended, you gain grenade energy, and additionally your armor charge is consumed and you gain additional grenade energy for each stack. We also have Fastball, and then we have Void Damage Resistance and Solar Damage Resistance. And we also have another solar damage resistance, so you can see solar or void, solar is what I have on. Now for my leg armor, we are rocking Lucky Pants like I just mentioned as the exotic leg armor. And you can see it has this big description, and it says illegally modified holster. When you ready a fully loaded hand cannon that deals kinetic damage or damage that matches your subclass energy type, each hit from that hand cannon increases the damage of the next shot for a short time against a combatant. Hand cannons ready faster and are more accurate immediately after swapping to them. Provides a small benefit to airborne effectiveness stat of hand cannons while the buff is active. So basically, just think about it. After you swap over to your hand cannon, you are going to have increased damage with it. And remember, we are stacking the kinetic increased damage. We have Vorpal Weapon that's stronger against champions, so we're having a lot of buffs right now. We're also going to be having these weapon surges, as you can see, better already. Your health begins to regenerate immediately after picking up an Orb of Power. But then a kinetic weapon surge, which your kinetic weapons gain a small bonus to damage while you have an armor charge. And remember, our kinetic weapon is Malfeasance, so we're going to be getting bonus damage. And then a strand weapon surge, which is your strand weapons gain a small bonus to damage while you have any armor charge. So when we pick up orbs, we're going to have extra damage on our LMG and our pistol. And then when it comes to the cloak, we have 2-time dilation mods. Your decaying armor charge has a longer duration. And then Bomber reduces grenade cooldowns when using your class ability. And if you're following along and you want to know the artifact, the only one you really need right now is going to be Barrier Auto Rifle. As you can see, it's the first one. And this is what's going to allow you to use your anti-barrier auto rifle rounds to stun champions. So if you're taking note, you're going to want that for your auto rifle. But other than that, we're going to get straight into the gameplay. So we're loading into the Lost Sector. As you can see, we're in the first room. And to be honest, there's not really anything that you really have to worry for here. It's pretty much just trying to get rid of all the red health bar enemies. So you can see I'm just using my LMG with my heavy ammo to make sure I can get them fast enough and not have to worry about taking enough solar damage with the grenade spam that you die. So you can see here, running around with the LMG, just, take them all out. Feel free to use as much LMG ammo as you want. Obviously, don't use the whole thing, but, use enough to where you can comfortably just get through here relatively easily. And then when it comes to the barrier champion here, dealing with the barrier champion, you can do this however you want, but you can see what I recommend doing is swapping over weapons that's not your hand cannon. And then what you can see is I switch to my heavy. Now I'm going to switch to my Malfeasance. I'm going to have the illegally modded holster, and when you hit crits, you can see how fast that you shred the health bar. Now there is a lot that's going into that, so while this next part plays out, I'm going to kind of talk about it. So when it comes to shredding the barrier champion like that, it's really just all the buffs that we have. For example, the first one being our kinetic weapons get increased damage because we are using a subclass that matches an active surge. For example, when I read the modifiers earlier, Arc and Strand are active current surges, so using an Arc or Strand subclass will give your kinetic weapon increased damage. So our Malfeasance is getting increased damage because of that. Then we have Vorpal Weapon, which is the catalyst, which is on our Malfeasance, which is going to allow us to do increased damage against champions. And then we also have the illegally modded holster, which is going to do increased damage with your hand cannon. Here you can see I'm doing the same thing. And you can see it started off pretty slow, but the crits you hit, they do add up, and they increase the amount of damage to the next shot, where you can just continuously not have to worry about those barrier champions. So that was pretty easy. But here is where it does get a little more annoying, just because of the amount of adds that they spawn in, and you're taking damage from pretty much everywhere. This is where I really recommend you try to use your decoys like you're seeing me do right now. That way, throw it on the left side, then go to the right and just kind of take out as many enemies as you can with the LMG. I would try to prioritize these knights because that arc damage is pretty annoying. But also the acolytes, when they throw their grenades, is also very annoying. But you can see I'm taking advantage of nades, taking advantage of the decoys and the melee. You can use your super. However, I felt like that was just kind of, not as useful when it comes to ad clear. Like, don't get me wrong, it's great, but I'd rather just save it just in case if there's a champion in front of me or if it's for the boss, whatever. I just found that to be more useful. But you can do it. You can see I sit on my super pretty much the whole time until the end. But when you clear out one of these crystal locations, as you can see I'm doing right here, there's still one ad left. But once you clear out the initial wave of AI, you will get a second wave. So you're going to see as I kill this acolyte on the left and the right, there's going to be a new set of red health bars. But there's also going to be an unstoppable ogre, which you're going to obviously want to get rid of him first because he's pretty much the most annoying one. You can see with the illegally modded holster and the buffs that we have, we can easily do, increased damage. And then when it comes to dealing with the other AI, grenades, heavy, whatever you got to do, But once you clear out the ogre, you will be able to, kind of break that crystal. And I just opted to leave it towards the end so I can show you. But now that you've cleared one area, you have two more that you have to clear out. You can see one's up here to the left. And I didn't start it. I was just more or less annoyed with the damage they were doing and the grenades and the arc damage. So I wanted to get rid of those knights, as you can see. So I throw my decoy, and I end up just taking some of these AI out. And now one thing I do want to note too, you're going to notice in a couple seconds, is after I initially kill some of these AI, it is going to trigger the next set of ads. You can see a champion has appeared on the left side, and I didn't even, interact with it. I just went straight to my right. And here you can see this is your other corner where you're going to have another crystal, and this is where your ads are going to spawn. But there's also a middle area here that's going to have random groups of AI. You can see I almost died here, but I completely forgot about it. And you just make your way, get rid of them. They're honestly not too difficult to get rid of. They're just all red health bars. There's no knights. The only knights that spawn are in by the crystals. But you can see here, using an arc weapon to break the arc knight shields will cause that little, arc damage to, chain enemies and do a little extra damage against the knight. So I was taking advantage of that by using my auto rifle. And then here you can see, after I get this last kill, I do believe I'm going to spawn in the next set of ads as well as the ogre. So you're going to see it very shortly. You can see I switched to get a legally modded holster for Malfeasance, then stun the ogre. And this one wasn't as clean of a kill. You can see I end up, missing a couple of shots. That way I didn't build up as much damage, but I still got a good amount of health taken down. You can see, get rid of that ogre. Once you get rid of the ogre, that's pretty much the hardest part done. You just gotta worry about these red health bar enemies. You can see they are throwing the solar grenades and stuff. But once you clear out this area, you're gonna want to make your way now to the last one, which is gonna be on my left. And like I mentioned earlier, the ogre did spawn. I just didn't fight it, and as you can see, I took a lot of damage right there. Try not to obviously do that. But you can run around, throw grenades, do whatever you want. You can see here's some more red health bar enemies spawned. Now we're going to make our way down to the ogre in a little bit. As you can see, that laser attack that he's got going on is, focusing on the other side where I was just at. But I took my LMG out, decided to do some red health bar, ad clear. Then I stunned the ogre, and you can see here, big damage with Malfeasance. Then I pretty much just got to get rid of these ads. Now that you've cleared out all the ads, you are going to want to try and, okay, I'd say that, then there's like 2 more ads here. But now that you've cleared out all the enemies, hopefully, you can start shooting these crystals. So you can see there's one back here from the first area, one to my left, and then one to my right. Make sure all your weapons are reloaded. That way, if you are doing damage, you never want to have to reload mid-gunfight or anything. You can see that's the first crystal. Here's the second one that I'm going to shoot. And I actually do reposition myself right here to the right, as you're going to see. And I highly recommend staying to the right side here, just because if you are taking too much damage, or if you feel like you're in a bad spot, you can just back up and the enemies won't push you too hard. They may, move a little bit, but you can see after you shoot this last crystal, you have all this cover, and then you can go back where you came from just in case. But you can see waves of ads are going to spawn, and I recommend just using your throwing grenades first. I would recommend, if you can, just lay off on the boss for a little bit. That way you're getting rid of all the AI around it, making it a little easier for you to target the boss. But you can see here, I threw my decoy waiting for the barrier knight, then switched over to my Malfeasance, and then I did the whole thing where I shred the health bar with Malfeasance. So that was pretty easy to kill him there. If you do mess up, don't worry about it. You can just switch to your barrier weapon. Hopefully it's the auto rifle. Use the auto rifle to break the shield, and then continue doing damage with your heavy or your Malfeasance, whatever you want to do. But you can see here, we're going to keep going, and it's mainly just a game of trying to pick off ads that are around you and trying not to die, pretty much. I do these recordings all in one take. That way, you guys don't have to see, oh, this guy died 3 times in one video. Why would I, watch a guide where the guy's dying, whatever. So you can see I did this all flawlessly, but that is mainly due to positioning and trying not to die too much. You can see very cautious with, where I want to run around. You don't have to be that cautious. If you want to get the, new exotic, or if you're farming for exotics, you can just run around and die. I've had times where I've died, 3-4 times in a lost sector, and I still get the exotic. So, your RNG is, up to the game pretty much, but It does not matter, you know, how many deaths you have. I just do this just to show you it can be done flawlessly, and I know there is some triumphs that require a flawless, so that's why I do it this way. Just to show you that whatever I do use is able to do it. Sure, there could be easier loadouts, better ways to do it, but it's just how I did it. You can see we're just focusing on the boss for a little bit now, but every time you do more and more damage to the boss as you eat away at that health bar, there is going to be more enemies that spawn in, so just keep that in mind. So you can see here, as we approach a little closer, it's going to be acolytes. I do believe there's a sniper to my right. I could be wrong. Let's see. Should be an acolyte. Yep, top right, you can see him. Watch out for those snipers as well. If you're running in the middle with just no cover, if they pretty much two-hit you, it's pretty much done. You're going to die from that. But you can see, using throttling grenades, you can see there more AI spawned. So I was like, okay, let's see how we're going to do this. I do have a throttling grenade, as well as a sniper in the back. And again, you just probably peeking left, see how many are there. Then you go right and get a kill, then peek left again. You know, it's just repeating the same thing. So yeah, here you can see this is going to be my last acolyte. There is going to be a shadow thrall that I should have mentioned probably at the start. But if you don't know how the nightmare bosses work, is there's going to be a nightmare red health bar enemy that you're going to see over here in a little bit, the shadow thrall. And you can see, or I should say nightmare thrall, and if you kill that nightmare thrall, he's going to drop a red orb. You pick up that red orb, you'll do increased damage against the nightmare boss. But you can see we did it no problem. We didn't really have to worry too much about that. Open the chest, get your loot. You can see I didn't get an exotic, but I'm going to show you that I was farming this, and I did end up getting the new hunter exotic, as you can see right here. So it is dropping. I'm 99% sure that you need to own the season. So if you're a free-to-play player, unfortunately, you know, you won't be able to obtain the new one that came out with the new season. But here you can see I'm showing you Moth Keeper's Wraps, the new exotic. But that's pretty much going to do it for this video. If you found it useful, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell so you don't miss another video. A playlist with all my Legend Lost Sector guides for this season will be popping up right now on screen. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.